So one of the things I need to do today is to get the majority of my plants that I'm going to be setting out in my garden all started from seed. So one of the things I need to do to start that process is to get all my soil mix put together, which is the majority of it is peat moss and compost that I'll be screening. I still got to screen a bunch that I have out in the pile out there. And then I also like to incorporate some native soil. For like a wheelbarrow full of my seed starting mix, I usually put about a 5-gallon bucket of native soil that I get from the forest. That adds a lot of fungus that is beneficial to the plants and bacteria, and also just nutrition as well. One of the things that I've been struggling with is to find peat moss right now. It's in kind of high demand, and a lot of people are wanting to get into gardening this year. So one of the things I got to do this morning is to call around and see where I can get some more peat moss. So the first place I'm going to try is Hoy's Hardware and see if they have any peat moss, and then maybe OK Corral. Or not OK Corral, but OK Feed. Alright, let's see what they have to say here. Holding. See what they have to say here. Yeah, looking to see if you guys have peat moss bales available. Or bagged, big bags. Okay, great. What sizes do you have, and do you know what your price is? Alright, a 2.2 cubic foot bag of peat moss is about $11. So that's not too bad. Probably we'll just get it there. I think that's about what the price Buy Mart had it for. So I think I'll head down there and try to get a bag. Alright, you ready to go get some peat moss?
Yes.
Alright, let's go. Uh-oh, looks like it's going to get some rain here.
Oh, we're going to be going. It's okay. We're going to be in the car, and then in a store, and then in the car, and then in the house.
You got to put it in reverse. You got it in drive right now.
Huh?
You have it in drive, so you put it up to the R, which is just underneath the P. There you go. Okay, now the brake's on.
Okay.
Gotta take the brake off, which is down right there. Handbrake.
How do I take
Push the silver, pull it up a little bit and push the silver button and let it down. Lift up the handle. There you go. There you got it figured out. Okay, I'm gonna lift off the brake here. Start turning the wheel this way. Okay, back around. So it'll be straight when we get to the end here.
Yeah.
Okay. And put it in drive. You also look at the letter there. That tells you what gear you're in. Okay, D. All right. So you start turning to the left. Turn.
I'm turning.
Not too much. There we go. Straighten it out.
If you see the car going too much one way, then you turn it the other way.
Okay. Alright, time for me to take over. Yeah, just starting to rain a bit here. Well, could thing, most of the seeding I need to do today is going to be in the house, so that's one nice thing about getting plants started. You can sit down and by the fire at a chair and table and do the seeding needed. The plants can start growing.
At the back of the tube. That's
The shoulder shots.
I am going to move. I can't go now because I'm right behind you.
Holly School. A lot going on there on Sunday. Okay, I got our peat moss here. Just grabbed 3 bags and put it in the back of the car. Get out later. Be careful. Alright, we got it in the car and ready to go.
To this store to get some tortillas.
Yep, almost forgot.
Almost forgot. Okay. There we go.
Of course, I'd forget to look at my notes if I wrote it down, so
yeah.
it can always help. Yeah, so getting some tortillas here.
These are the ones you got.
Yep. These aren't too bad.
I'm carrying it, not opening it. We got some avocados. Yay!
Okay, let's go home.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got everything we need this time. We got our tortillas for my wife, and Ginger got herself some avocados.
Avocados.
Yeah.
And we got Daddy's peat moss.
Yep, we got peat moss, so we can.
Yeah, the rain has stopped.
Oh, good. Yep, looks like it's a little bit drier here, so that'll be nice because I gotta be outside to mix the seed starting mix in the wheelbarrow. Make a big batch up here. So hopefully that will go well, and have to go out and get some soil as well to put in the seed starting mix, and also screen some compost. So a little bit of work to be done here. Yep, anything else we need before we go home?
Time to go home, and then maybe the pizza will be done.
Oh, is Mom making pizza?
Yeah, she's making pizza.
Oh, okay, good. Well, it's raining out right now, and so I just got done with going over to the compost pile there and getting my screen with the 8/4-inch screen inside of the 1/2-inch screen, and that's usually what I use to screen out the compost that I'm going to use in a seed starting mix where I want it to be quite fine, and it seems to work fairly well. So anyway, got that in the wheelbarrow here, and I'm going to be dumping the contents of the wheelbarrow into a bag and then measuring it out with combining that with the peat moss and then some native soil in there. So I need about 8 gallons of compost and 8 gallons of the peat moss and about 5 of the topsoil there. So. Pulling back the duff here and scraping some of the soil off and then raking the organic matter of the duffs here back over the site here so I can create some more. We'll move on to another site. So that's kind of what I'm getting here, just kind of the very, very top soil. And so I'll screen that to get the rocks and the sticks out of there and then add that to my compost there. So this little shovel head that was kind of left over from the previous owners of our property has been very useful for all kinds of little jobs, like a big trowel. So I'm going to head back up to the house and get this screened out and get the rest of the seed starting mix all done. So let's go. Alright, so I moved the wheelbarrow here into the shed. I normally have the lawnmowers kept, so I kind of keep it out of the rain so that things don't get too wet around here. So I'm going to go get my screen. Alright. Screened out here, broken up. These are all the big chunks. It's very nice soil. Very nice aggregates. It's got a few little rocks in here, and snails and little sticks here. Good fungal growth in here. Hyphae, and fungal hyphae is what it is. Help to establish new fungal growth right where the new little plants are growing in the little pot. This would be beautiful stuff to grow in, but there's never enough of it, and the only way to really keep it is to have it in the environment where you found it, which is underneath the tree where all the organic matter is coming out. All the fungus lives. Take my shovel trowel here. rubbery gloves work really well for working on stuff like this. You don't have to have muddy old hands. You can just take them off whenever you need clean hands. These wash up nicely. Okay, so I'm going to start mixing this together here. I have a 1 gallon bucket here that I'll use for the measuring bucket. So I'll open up the peat moss here. Try to salvage the bag as much as possible, so put stuff back into it. See what the quality is. It always changes every year, it seems like. The quality of the peat moss is. Ooh, it's actually pretty decent. Fairly compacted, which is what you want. If it's all loose, then you're not getting much, because you pay by the cubic foot, so you're not paying by the pound, unfortunately. Okay, there's one. Dump that in. Put the light fluffy stuff at the bottom here. It'll make it easier to mix it rather than some heavier sticky stuff at the bottom. We'll break this up as we go along here. And pick out any sticks I find too here that are going to be in the way in the little pots. Okay, there's 2 gallons. A little tedious. So we'll stick 8 gallons of this in there. We've got the compost in this bag here, and peat moss over here. So this is just the premier compost stuff. Sphagnum peat moss I just bought. So and then I got my bucket of soil down there. So we're in the process of getting the mix together. So I'll do half a batch, mix it all thoroughly, and then to the top of that I'll add the next half and then mix that thoroughly and then mix it all together a little bit. But mixing a whole wheelbarrow full is a little bit of a challenge, so I'm doing a half at a time. Okay, 1. And let's make that 2. All the extra spillage. Okay. Okay. Ready to mix here. So a little bit of hand mixing and using the trowel here. My hands in the bottom there and make sure I get all the peat moss that it's in the corners there out. More sticks. Alright, another 4 of the compost and 4 of the peat moss and the rest of the soil here. Three. 4. Got a bunch of sticks in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, hard on the back. Lean over as far here. Okay. So there's that, and then the rest of the soil here we'll put in there. And mix this together now. Alright, so I got all the compost all bagged up and brought into the house here so I can begin my seeding process. Actually, one thing I need to do first is to get my garden plan finished up here and figure out exactly how many plants of each kind I need. So when I get to seeding, I'll know how many trays I need and how many trays of each plant I need. So let's get to working on that. All right, so here is my 2021 plan here. Still got a blank sheet here pretty much. So I have all my beds laid out here and numbered. At least this is for my main garden area. So I got 19 50-foot beds, at least that's the guesstimate here. I need to take a look here. Let's see here. So these are not, I think it's like the first two. I'd have to go check. I think the first two are like 40 feet. I always forget that when I make up my plan here. So I have to remember to cut off these. I need to extend these out at some point here. There's a big barrel there that I need to move and then spade it under and amend the soil and try to get it into production there in that area. So I just got to keep that in mind. But pretty much I got garlic in this bed and this bed, and some garlic in the first part of 16, so let's put that in there. Yeah. So garlic. And then, so then this is pretty much garlic up to there, and then we got leeks. Oh, come on. Why am I trying to make a K? It's my dyslexia kicking in here. Thinking leek ends with a K, therefore I write K. L-E-E-K-S. Okay, and then garlic. Okay. So then I got fava beans on the next row. That's a full row of that. So then I got bed 14 and 13, which are kind of, they're more of a shaded bed. So I want to make sure I put cooler crops and not things that need a lot of sun. So I have my list here at the top of things that I want to grow. So I got some soup peas. Those might do well there. We got broccoli. Broccoli likes a lot of sun. Not heat, but sun. Onions. They like a lot of sun. Swiss chard. Anything with big leafy stuff where you're trying to produce a lot of leaves. They tend to like a lot of sun. Pretty much everything does. Lettuce. We could do lettuce over there. That might be a good thing to put. It doesn't like to have a lot of sun, even though it's something you're growing for leaves. So we can put, how much lettuce do we even want? Half a bed, start off with that. Is that too much? That might be a bit much. Let's do like a third of a bed here. Downstairs. Okay, so let's put lettuce here. L-E-T-T-U-C-E. Okay, so I'll put lettuce there. So if that's a third of a bed, so let's see here. What's the math here on that? So we got 50 divided by 3 is 16 and 17, about 17 feet. 16, let's go with 16. So I'll put 16 feet. So let's do 16 feet of lettuce. Lettuce needs to be planted. I have my sheet here. Lettuce needs to be planted at 4 rows to a 30-inch bed, 8-inch spacing. Okay,
So seeds per linear foot is 6. So that means we need to punch in 16 times 6 gives us 96 plants. That's quite a few. So then we kind of backtrack and say, okay, well, how many plants do we really need? Oh, I don't know. I have a flat of 72. So obviously 96 is going to be too much. So I would say like 50 plants. That's probably enough to keep us in lettuce. Cabbage, yeah, we could do cabbage and kohlrabi and something like that. That would work. So how many cabbages do we want? I don't know, like 20. Probably 20 cabbages. Okay, so let's see how much bed space that's going to need. We go to our sheet here, and we look up cabbage. So 2 rows, 18 inches apart, so that is 1.3 plants per foot. Okay, so then divisions like 20 divided by 1.3 should give us 15.38, so 16 feet. Yeah, so that would be 16 feet. Okay, so there's 8 and there's 16, so we got about right. Yep, 16 feet. Oops, FT. There we go. Okay, so then we want 20 plants, 20 P plants, and this is going to be cabbage. CABBAGE. Okay. So then the rest, so then we got another 25 feet of, see what, spinach. Spinach would do well. I would say let's move the cabbage. If we're going to do spinach, let's move it up here. Or beside here, I guess we could do it. Let's move it up here. It doesn't like a lot of sun.
One of the things I wanted to show you guys in this video was first of all how to make a good seed starting mix that's very low cost, just using your own compost and some peat moss and some native soil. I find that adding the native soil really helps to prevent damping off disease. It has a lot of beneficial microbiology in there that counteracts any of the negatives. There still gets a little bit of the fungus on the surface there, but usually a little bit of hydrogen peroxide squirted on the surface will kill off any fusarium or rhizoctonium or something like that that would cause damping off on the surface there. But if you also keep it in good sunlight, which has UV rays, generally that will also keep any kind of damping off from happening. So getting them out in a greenhouse helps a lot in order to prevent damping off disease. If they're in the house, there's no UV light coming in, then it can definitely be a problem. But the soil additive, definitely, I've noticed a reduction in problems where without it, I've had a lot of damping off disease. Also wanted to show how I lay out my garden, and that may give you some ideas of, adapt that to your purposes. Be able to just do it on paper. I find it a lot easier just to have it visual and interact with it directly. And doing it on the computer always seems to take a lot more time, and then I got to print it out, and if I want to change it, then I can't. I have to go back to the computer and print out another sheet, and then all my notes on the other sheet were gone, or so it just seems to be much more practical just to have a clipboard with where I can interact with pencil it in and erase it and move stuff around as needed, and be able to take notes and list things off and take the clipboard out to the garden and take a look and see which bed I need to work on. And then after I do some work on it, write in some notes of what I did to the bed so I can keep track of things like that and know what I need to do for the other beds and when I did it, when I set out the plants, So I can look for this year, I can look back on last year just by going back to the sheet for last year and kind of see when did I set out those plants, and was it successful, and should I gotten it in a little earlier, or was that about the right time? So anyway, it's very helpful to have a plan. All right, well, thanks for watching. I will catch you guys on the next video. God bless.